ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
It is Monday, October 28th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We're going to get things started with our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. Coming off a weekend without football, but we had a double-header of basketball yesterday. How many of you made it out to the Henderson Center yesterday? Good crowd. For an exhibition game, for a free event, not a bad crowd for yesterday. So good time had by all. The halftime was fun, had the dogs, the trick dogs were there. In all seriousness, though, we had two really good games yesterday, and we're going to talk a little bit about the men's game. Probably more so about the men's game than the women's game. Marshall winning that first game against Pikeville 90-73. So Cornelius Jackson getting his first win as the head coach, and then Jilly Folks getting her first win as the head coach with an 87-77 victory over Pikeville. I thought that the Pikeville squad, both the men and women, that was a good test for the Thundering Herd. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't necessarily like it when teams come in and it's just a stupid blowout. What'd you get out of that? What'd you learn? How did they challenge you? How'd you benefit from that? You were way better than that team. So what'd you accomplish here? So Pikeville came in, solid program. They challenged the Herd. I liked it. Not challenged to the point where I was concerned. And that women's game, that score was a little closer than you probably like. But at no point was I really concerned about where Marshall would be. Marshall only got outscored in that fourth. Marshall outscored Pikeville 29-21 the first on the women's side, 18-16 in the second, 21-17 in the third, and then they got outscored in the fourth 23-19. So that was the one frame that they lost, if you're keeping score there. But I think one thing that maybe would help Marshall is once it gets itself in a rhythm, limit those turnovers, and I think we got a different score. Marshall committed a few turnovers that I think you can clean up, but they also were able to benefit from turnovers. So on the one side, I think that Pikeville had 11 turnovers, Marshall had 13, but Pikeville only had 8 points off turnovers. Marshall, the women had 20 points off turnovers. Paint points, Marshall dominated that category on the women's side, 44-26. Second chance points, it was Marshall leading the way, 11-6. Fast break, 12-5. And then bench points, obviously, this was one that Marshall led the way, 34-13. So it was a good showing by the women. A little closer than I would have liked, but again, no time did I think that the women were in jeopardy of losing that game. And then the men, I thought it was fun, back and forth, but at the end of the day, I knew that Marshall would win that game. The second half was a little closer than the first half, but I don't think that's indicative of anything. That's one of those situations where, okay, you got what you need out of this game, and a lot of players got time yesterday. Pretty much the entirety, for the most part, got playing time yesterday in this one. And the Thundering Herd, they shot in the game 34 of 72 for 47.2%. Three-point line still going, 9 of 28 there. Free throw line could be a little bit better. They were 12 of 17 in that first half, only one opportunity in the second half. So 72.2%, not terrible, but at the same time, you can clean that up. Points in the paint, obviously Marshall dominated that stat, 48-26. Points off turnovers, again, Marshall dominated that, 126-15. Second chance points, Marshall again, 23-4. Fast break points, 8-0. And for the Thundering Herd, it led for 33 minutes and 20 seconds. Pikeville led for 3 minutes and 22 seconds of game time. So the Thundering Herd, for the most part, controlled this game. outscored Pikeville 47-31 in that first. It was a 1-point difference in the second, 43-42. Apologies. So the Thundering Herd getting the win. We're going to hear from victorious head coach Cornelius Jackson in a few minutes. I also had a chance to catch up with him today. Yesterday was the game, so we got his reaction from the game. And then yesterday, I also heard from Julie Folk, so we'll hear that. And then we got some of his comments from today, and we'll talk a little bit about what he saw on film, because he's already watched the game twice, he said. And that was just after we talked to him at Marshall. And he's got some thoughts on what the team needs to do. And then, of course, the other big question was, people were asking, hey, why isn't Obina and Achille Killen playing? And he reiterated that today. He said it yesterday. Look, he was available to us. We just decided not to go with him. And that's fine. Do you really need to put him out there? And probably the answer is no. You don't necessarily need to put him out there. He knows how to get ready. He knows how to be ready. Same thing with Nate Martin. I mean, you could have sat a few more players, to be honest with you. If you want to look at it from a point of view that, how many of these veterans really needed the time? I mean, other than just kind of knock some rust off. I mean, you look at Nate Martin, who's out there 21 minutes. That's it, 21 minutes. I think the player that got the most time, was Mingo. He had 29 minutes, and Ryan Nutter had 28 minutes. Cade Gibbs, for 20 minutes of action, 19 points. Pretty good performance from him. And with Mingo, he had 10 points. He had 6 rebounds, a couple of steals as well, had 5 assists. I liked what I saw. I liked what I saw from him. I like what I saw from, obviously, the veterans like Nate Martin, Ryan Nutter. I didn't have anything really negative to say about anybody out there. From what I did see, the sampling size on some of these guys, I liked what I saw from a lot of these guys. So it was a good effort last night. If you didn't get a chance to see the game, the Thundering Herd will be back in action. We'll get it underway. I don't want to say for real, but they're keeping score and the record books, and it counts its wins and losses. Those matter when next we meet on the Henderson Center court. So if you went to the game, hope you had fun. What'd you think? Text lines 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And let's just make it a little bit more fun, because we got a football game coming up this week. I got tickets. We're gonna do a 4-pack today, and then we'll have another giveaway tomorrow, and they're all gonna vary. So it's not gonna be the same quantity. So if you're gonna hold out for something, don't. It might be more, it might be less than what I'm giving you today. So if you're looking for tickets this week, enter every day. So I've got a 4-pack we're going to give away today. Our text line this hour is going to be 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We'll get the text line going in the next few minutes. I want to hear from Julie Folks in a few minutes. So we'll do that first, and then we'll hear from Cornelius Jackson. And, of course, we got to go over everything that's happening today. The NFL yesterday was trash. The Eagles beat the Bengals. The Bengals are pathetic at home. What gives right now? Eagles win that game 37-17. So, of course, I got to hear it from everybody that's either not a Bengals fan or an Eagles fan. So I had to hear that noise today. Thanks. The Browns beat the Ravens 29-24. And then we got the Steelers and the Giants tonight. I am rooting for the Giants. I am hoping that the Giants can beat the Steelers. And this is me with the Steelers as my fantasy football defense. I can't win this week, so I hope the Giants trash the Steelers tonight, just because I'm in a grumpy mood when it comes to the Bengals. So I'm glad the Ravens lost. I hate that the Browns won. I'm happy the Cowboys lost, but I hate that the 49ers won. They faced each other Sunday night. So absolutely grumpy mood today when it comes to the NFL. I just don't know what's going on with the Bengals. And then, of course, on the ESPN Pluses, if you were watching, Marshall and Georgia State play to a 3-all draw. Not going to get it done if you keep drawing. I mean, you get a point, sure, but this is not going to get it done. And, of course, the women JMU gets the win over the ladies 3-2. But I think I'm more disappointed with the draw than anything. Yeah, you get points, but Marshall should be at this point firing on all cylinders. I would hope that the Herd would have it all almost put together. It's going to need to. And you still have an opportunity. You got West Virginia coming in. What's that even going to look like? If you lose or draw with them, that's not going to keep the natives happy. It's going to be a restless bunch of people who will be at that game if Marshall has a draw or loses to West Virginia. So hopefully Chris Grassi and his squad can get it together here in the stretch run to hopefully a championship, both regular season and, of course, the tournament title. I know Chris likes the regular season title. I would prefer both, but I'll take the tournament title if you please. Quick timeout. We'll get your text in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
You've cut back on everything, and you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Give your local State Farm agent a call for a free discount double check. They'll show you how something as simple as combining car and home policies can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Being there to help keep more of your money is why your local State Farm agent is here. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In Huntington, John Garten, 304-525-1116. And in Barbersville, Marcia Slater, 304-736-6100.
Ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistent scent. All over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep a smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Hey Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. It's that time of year again, football season. Frank's has you covered from Marshall, WVU, the rest of college football to the NFL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Hey, Tri-State, there is a place to shop at. The Huntington's Peddlers Mall is now open in the historic Central City District in Huntington. Over 200 vendors specializing in vintage antiques, home decor, furniture, collectibles, new mattresses, and everything in between. Peddlers Mall, located 800 14th Street West in Huntington. It's the place to go. Open 7 days a week. Visit anytime. Check out the website, peddlersmall.com, for more information. It's the Tri-State place to shop, Huntington's Peddlers Mall.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
Welcome back to our Monday edition. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Still to come, we're going to hear from Cornelius Jackson as the Herd getting the win over Pikeville, the men's side 90-73 yesterday in exhibition play. The Herd love to call it fans first. And, of course, the women getting a 10-point victory also in exhibition play against the women from Pikeville, 87-77. So, busy night for Herd fans yesterday. Of course, there was soccer as well. A lot going on for Marshall. Thankfully, the men and women got it done on the basketball court. And that's where we begin with Coach Julie Folk getting her first win as the head coach of the women. And now you got to get ready and focused on the regular season. And she talked a little bit in her opening statement yesterday just how the preseason is getting this team ready for the regular season.
Yeah, I think everything that you're doing in the preseason is trying to get you ready for the next game. And I thought today was really good because, last week we had a scrimmage and it was against a team that really attacked the rim well. And, we were able to adjust to that. And then today it was a team that's, essentially playing five guards and, picking and popping everything and getting to the three-point line. And that gave us a really good chance to work on a uniquely different lineup that we've been working on, but probably not as prevalent. and, coverages that, we haven't seen as much. And so for both of those, all you really want in the preseason is you hope you keep seeing things so that your team can keep seeing it and adapting. And so I thought this was great. They shot the ball really well, which was, probably a little disconcerting at times, but I appreciate kind of those pressure moments because they're always going to happen, and learning how to get stops when it matters and hit big shots when it matters. That's how you win the games down the stretch.
Now, as we alluded to, this game was a little closer than I would have liked, 87-77. Again, at no time did I think that Marshall was in any jeopardy, but you got the challenge that you were looking for. Did you like the response to the challenge that UPike gave your team?
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime it goes 5-point game with 3 minutes to go, your team really has to come through and battle. And, I always think, 5-point games and under kind of shows the character of your team because lots of things can happen. And, up to that point, we had tried to keep the offense really limited on purpose. We were not opening it up. And so we went to some things, down the stretch that we kind of hoped we wouldn't run today. But when you need the score, you need the score, and so you go get it. But we were trying to kind of stay in our base set and get better at that with film. And but when we had the quick hitters, we got the scores we needed to give them some space and breathing room so they didn't feel the pressure as much too.
Now, you could probably highlight a few players who you're happy with as far as performance is concerned, who really stood out to you. And I think Ariana Redmond stood out for me. Aislinn Hayes stood out. She had 21 points, but Redmond really stood out for me. Not only did she have 19 points, she had a couple of assists. She also had a steal. She also was 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. She was 6 of 10 from the field, had 4 rebounds. So she really stood out to me. I mean, CeCe Mays, 10 points there. There are a few standouts. You could look at a few players and go, okay, early on, this is where we're getting some offense. Blessing King had 7, so she had a nice little game going on. As we alluded to, Marshall got 20 points off of turnovers. Marshall was able to hit 7 3-pointers, 7 of 21, so I'm sure they got to clean that up a little bit. They were 30 of 66 from the field. Pikeville was 31 of 64 from the field. And they actually hit more threes than the Herd, 9 of 23 there. But the free throw line definitely was the difference here. 20 of 24 for the Thundering Herd. 6 of 8 for Pikeville. So things to clean up, I'm sure. But she got some good performances, and so when we kind of cornered her on who she was pleased with, she talked a little bit about the collective effort she got from her team. Also, she alludes to at the end some of the things that the team kind of needs to get better at.
I thought collectively the best thing that we did is we adapted to what we needed to do. And so it wasn't necessarily one person. If you took everybody in that game, they kind of had moments of brilliance on offense, and then we had moments where we tripped over ourselves on offense. And, and I mean, this is not an excuse. This is completely on me. The Wilson balls, they're harder to play with when they're brand new, and we probably have not had a brand new ball the last couple weeks as much as we should have, and that's completely on me for not having switched that out sooner. But they always kind of run away from you a little bit. And I saw that happen a couple of times tonight, and I was like, oh, that's my mistake because that's something I know. But I thought, there were plenty of good moments. There's plenty of things that we're going to have to get better at, but we had some really good rebounding efforts when we needed to. Blessing speed always kind of gives us some different looks, but a lot to improve on.
44 rebounds for the Thundering Herd, and Blessing, as she just mentioned, had 4 rebounds in the game. So what are some of those things that you want to focus on? Not giving everything away, but Coach, what do you want to focus on?
Yeah, I think our turnover rate right now is too high. The first 10 possessions, we're always tracking that, and we were only 6 of 10, and so that was where they got a little momentum because we had a couple turnovers that they were able to get out on. But anytime you're turning it over, at that rate, it's going to be really hard to build leads, sustain leads, and so then we tracked and we were 9 of 10 the next 2 possessions, and then we had another stretch where we went 6 of 10, 7 of 10, and you kind of saw the scorekeeper reflecting those pieces. When we were taking care of the ball, we stretched the score out, and then when we had the turnovers, it started getting tight again, and that'll be a piece that we'll focus on a lot the next week because I think it's just internal decisions versus things that they were doing to cause turnovers.
Julie Folks, her squad with the victory yesterday. If you weren't there, you missed a fun one. 87-77 over Pikeville. Thundering Herd getting the first win as the head coach of the Thundering Herd, Julie Folks, with their Herd getting the first win. And, of course, we're going to hear from Cornelius Jackson when we continue. Marshall in that one, beating Pikeville 90-73. That game was a little bit more of a high-scoring game. Obviously, anytime you can score 90 points, you've done something right. And if you can hold the team to under, say, 75 maybe? What's the magic number here? Whatever it was, Marshall got more points. That's all we care about. And so the Thundering Herd with the victory. We'll talk about it. We'll get Cornelius Jackson's reaction to the win last night. And then what do you see on film today after film study? We'll talk about it with you when we continue on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavalette is now open. Wayne County residents, you now have access to a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com or visit us today on 5th Street Road.
Equal housing lender, member NCUA. Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Hey Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. It's that time of year again, football season. Frank's has you covered from Marshall, WVU, the rest of college football to the NFL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. Picked up for 40 days of consistent scent. All over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep a smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Now is the time to add on a new bathroom or remodel your old one with the latest up-to-date bathroom fixtures from Mutual Wholesalers, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Come in today to Mutual Wholesalers' beautiful showroom and see how your new bathroom will look. Check out Acre by Max. Have a new bathroom this year. Mutual Wholesalers, locally owned and operated, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Call 304-525-9118.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
We continue on with this Monday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're going to hear from Cornelius Jackson in just a moment. Let's go to the text line. Texter says, Paul, I wasn't able to make it to the men's game. 3 of my grandchildren and I went to the women's game, and I was wondering why they removed a bunch of the seats where the student section was. Plus, where the band was located. Where did he now sit at? Well, last night I didn't get to really see too many students, so I can't tell you for sure. I will get clarification on that one because people are curious. But I do know why they removed seating. It's not permanent removal. They're just doing some maintenance, and they're doing some, I think they're going to add some seats back there. Honestly, probably long overdue. There's a lot of construction that's going on right now at the Henderson Center, spots here and there. So, I think we're going to see some more things as this season progresses. I don't have all the details on everything just yet, so I can't give you a definitive answer there. But if you haven't noticed, they've added an entryway over in the end zone. Those are sort of glass doors now, so there's some different entryways to get into the Henderson Center for depending on what your level is. You've got Thunder Trust members that can go in one way. You got Big Green members that can go in another way. So they're doing some things. There's at the tarmac, there's some parking options now. And again, if you don't have that spot, you don't have that spot. So you know who you are. You have that spot. If you don't have that spot, you're not getting that spot. So there's some things happening around, and those seats, it's not anything other than, okay, we got to do some maintenance. You got to make sure everything's in good shape here. So those had to go out, and I can't say when, but it's temporary. I do know that. At least that's what I was told recently. If that changes, I'll tell you. But we'll get you an idea of where the students are going to sit. I'm kind of curious where they're going to sit as well. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's our number to be a part of today's show. Honestly, this is just me. Before we hear from Coach Jackson, I would have made that end zone. I would have just made that some super high, expensive club seating area or something like that. I would have done something there. I mean, you got to find ways to generate revenue in this new day and age. You got to come up with every perk and amenity you can to attract more dollars, and because there's going to be somebody that will spend those extra dollars. Remember when they put the courtside seats in? Other venues have been doing that for a long time, and so Marshall finally caught up to that, removing a lot of the media seating for more of the baseline, I'm right there on the court seating experience. And so those were a big hit, and that expanded for women's basketball as well. I know they do that for other sports. Give you just like a sort of a premium experience with a facility that was built, in 1981? 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texture says, Paul, it was cool to hear Marshall players mention and excelling Sunday in the Chiefs game. I didn't get to watch the Chiefs game, but yeah. And that's good. That's always good. It's free marketing. It's free publicity. So, yeah, it's always good to hear that kind of stuff. Something that the Sun Belt does, which is really cool, and we'll get the email later this week, if not tomorrow, is once all the NFL games are done, they'll send a report. Hey, here's how all the Sun Belt team players did. So we'll get that report. We'll start sharing that with you. But yeah, that is pretty cool. It doesn't get old, does it? You're like, hey, here's a guy that went to Marshall, and you just saw him play on Saturdays. Now he's playing on Sundays. Again, I'm in the NFL is trash mode right now, only because of the outcomes of this weekend. The Bengals were winning when I left. I left the house. The Bengals were winning, and they lost to the Eagles 37-17. And then the Ravens lose. They get beat by the Browns. I'm glad the Ravens lose. I'm not happy the Browns won. And then I'm happy that the Cowboys lost. I'm not happy that the 49ers won, even though they're the ones that beat them. I got a lot of anger when it comes to the NFL. And tonight, I'm hoping the Giants just trash the Steelers. Absolutely. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Basketball yesterday, Coach Jackson getting it started for the Thundering Herd with that 4 o'clock tip. Nice crowd on hand. It was fun. Thundering Herd got the win. That's all we care about, fun and winning. We liked it. We got both of it. Halftime was entertaining with the dogs and the tricks. Always book dogs as a halftime act. I liked it. And Coach Jackson got his win. All kidding aside, Coach Jackson gets his win, and he starts out now on the positive side. Even though it's an exhibition game, he gets the victory. So he's thankful that that's over with now. As we start with his comments from last night, that's where we start. He was glad it was over.
I'm glad it's over. It's good to finally play someone else, but, first-time head coach, you look forward to these moments, and a lot of teaching moments, a lot of things we saw that we can work on. So, but overall, I'm just glad it's over.
Yeah, I'll be glad it's over too, because everybody's been talking about it. Hey, your first game. Hey, how's this gonna feel? How'd you feel? All of that. He just wants to go out there and coach. And he got the win, so we can take that off the list now. Okay, first win, even though it was exhibition, it counts. Check. Okay, got that win. Now let's just focus on getting ready for the regular season. And I thought that Pikeville was a good test for the Thundering Herd. I don't like just bringing in teams just for a victory. Give me a challenge. Give me somebody that can challenge and make me work for it. I want to find out where I'm good at, and I want to find where I'm bad at. I mean, it's honestly, that's what I think we got from this game last night. We got a game where I think we saw some positives for the Thundering Herd. Marshall was stressed a little bit. I didn't think at any time that the game was going to go Pikeville's way, but Pikeville made Marshall earn it. And so I asked Coach Jackson, what did you get out of this game? And there's some things he's got to build on.
We need to defend better. I liked that we were playing hard. We dove on the floor several times, so that kind of sets the tone. But we need to defend better. A few times they were trying to drive through us and finish around the rim, so we need to get tougher in the paint. And again, that's something we'll work on. That's something you get out of these type of games like this, exhibitions. But we'll work on that. We'll continue to get better. It's a process.
Now, last night as well, he just wanted to talk about how proud he was of how the team played. You look at the roster up and down. There's positives to take away from all the performances. And it was a good balance of, okay, here's some new guys, here's some veterans. I mean, Ye Mingo had 10 points. I like that kid. Cade Gibbs had 19. I mean, there were a lot of positives you can take away. You can't just point your finger at one guy and say, okay, hey, this is the star of the game. There were a lot of performances that I think he's going to be happy with, and he was just proud of how this team came out and responded last night and how they played.
I'm proud of those guys. First time coming from different situations, first time stepping out in front of our fans in Henderson Center. I'm proud of the way they all responded. 1 through, how many played? 14, 1 through 15. Jalen Spear didn't play and Albina didn't play. We have 16 guys, but I'm proud. I'm proud of those guys. Again, we had 3 true freshmen, Will, Eric, and Caden, step out, and they look like they've been on the floor for a while. So I'm really proud of their effort tonight.
And just to address again, he was asked about it yesterday, and he was asked about it again today. Different people asking. He said that Albina was available. It's decided not to go with him. So I just want to stress that out because he alluded to that. He mentioned that. Pretty much everybody got to go in except a couple of players. Albina was available to him. You know what? He decided, I'm good. I know what Albina can do. I'm good. Let's go see what some of the other guys can do. So that's where we're at right now with Coach as far as Albina not playing yesterday. And he was asked, hey, who are you happy with? Who are you surprised with? Those have been some of the questions we've been throwing at him. And as I alluded to, he did mention Cade Gibbs and Dezane Mingo, talked about their performance. He was really happy with those two.
I thought Cade and Dezane, I wasn't surprised because I expect those things out of those guys. I think Cade had 19 points, 10 rebounds, I'm more excited about the 10 rebounds than I am the 19 points because that's how he has to play to give us a chance to win. Nate Martin can't be out there alone getting all the rebounds. And then you got a guy like Dezane. I thought he gave us a spark. He had, if you look at the stats, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. So he's flirting with a triple-double. So those 2 guys stood out, but again, I'm proud of the whole team.
And funny you should say those 2 guys because those are the guys they brought to us after the game. So we got to hear just a couple of minutes from Cade and Mingo, and they talked about the performance. And Dezane Mingo, I'm going to go with him as my guy now because he repositioned the microphone, my microphone, so he could speak into it. I think he was trying to hog my microphone. But Gibbs and Mingo, they had a lot to say last night, and they talked about the performance and just being out there, finally playing against a different opponent, not inter-squad or anything.
Yeah, it honestly felt so nice. I feel like having been here since June, we've just been going against each other and beating up on each other every day. Yeah, we switch teams up, and it's nice to play with different guys, but it's so nice to finally get to play against somebody else. someone that doesn't know your go-to move, someone that doesn't know your strengths. So that was awesome to finally all be on one team and be able to compete together.
Yeah, just to add to that, we get at it every single day, so we've been itching for this moment. So it's really special for us.
First speaker was Cade. The second speaker was Dezane. We'll, I'm sure, hear more from them as the season progresses. So what about today? Media availability. We get to talk to Coach Jackson. It's not even been 24 hours since the game when we got to talk to him. And he was asked about what he saw on film. And he alluded to the fact that, there's some things we got to work on, but he's already watched it twice. That's what he said when we asked him about what he saw.
You know what? Just got done watching it for the second time this morning. I liked our energy. I liked our intensity. Saw some things we need to clean up. We missed too many layups around the rim. Free throws, 13 for 18. So we got to clean that type of things up. And then just defensively on drives, I would like to see us more physical once a guy gets a step on us. But all in all, I was impressed with our effort.
So he liked what he saw on film. And he also talked about, because if you heard just a moment ago, talked about hitting the floor. He really stressed how happy he was. That's a metric of his. How many times the team hit the floor and what that says to him about how this team gets it.
Well, I think last night we had 7 times we were first to the floor. That little inkling is telling me that these guys are catching on and they're buying in. We want to set the tone. Especially in our home gym. We want to set the tone. So whenever there's an opportunity to be on the floor, we don't want to just watch. We want to dive on it, because we want to claim the ball. And the one Nutter dove out of bounds last night. I think he dove out, but it was a distance that he dove. And I think those plays like that really sets the tone. So these guys, men, are good young men. That's why it's important for us to recruit character first, and usually when you have good character guys, they'll catch on, they'll buy in.
Coach Jackson, his comments yesterday and today as Marshall getting the win over Pikeville in exhibition play 90-73. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Today our giveaway is a 4-pack of tickets to go see the Herd in action on Saturday. We got football coming back up. We're going to hear from Coach Huff tomorrow, but we've got tickets all this week, so your first opportunity to win tickets to the game on Saturday is now with our text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. No instructions today. Make it entertaining. Hit me with something good. That's basically the instructions I'm giving you. Make it good when you text. More coming up. It's The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistent scent on low Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep a smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kitty Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Giovanni's has great Italian dishes. Spaghetti with meat sauce, lasagna, ravioli, manicotti, all dinners served with hot garlic bread or Italian rolls. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Save big money on your next project. Right now at Menards. Give your home an elegant look with Mastercraft pre-finished hardwood molding. Available in 5 pre-finished colors to save you time. Just cut and install for a simple upgrade to any room. Save big on all Mastercraft molding products. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night.
Perfect. I love my job.
Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
304-396-TALK is the text line. Final segment, today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We're also sweetening the deal. We're giving you a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to game. You win those tickets, you get to go to the game on Saturday on me. Back to the text line. Why's it got to be this harsh? The texter says, Paul, you won't get your wish tonight. Ha ha. Remember, any given Sunday or Monday now, Bengals won't buy or trade any help for Burrow. So just get over it. It's hockey season now. I'm over it. No, I'm just disappointed. The Bengals lose yesterday. I thought that was a winnable game. They were losing late in the game. When I tuned back in, at least to check in, they were winning when I was leaving, heading towards the Henderson Center. It's been disappointing. They're 3-5. They're 3-5. They have an opportunity to make a great late run, but I'm quite disappointed with how they've been managed these last couple of seasons. They've got some of the best talent in the NFL, and just you got to protect the quarterback. You need help on both sides of the ball. There's just some opportunities missed here. But at the same time, I'm always going to root against the Steelers. Especially, it's a division game, so I'm going to root against the Steelers. And since I can't win my fantasy matchup and I get the Steelers defense, I just hope they get trashed. Absolutely. Then they can come fired up next week and maybe win me a game. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And with those hurtful, harsh words, you're still entered for our 4-pack of tickets to go see the Herd in action on Saturday. ULM coming in to the Henderson Center. All right. Few things of note. We've got a time for the November 9th game. Marshall's going to be at Southern Miss. That is set for a 3 p.m. kick. 3 p.m. It's going to be on ESPN+. Also, 5 Sun Belt regular season matchups will appear on ESPN2 or ESPNU. Marshall could be one of those matchups. Now, Sunday, December 8th is going to be Arkansas State at Memphis. So that's going to be broadcast. Obviously, it's Memphis. Then there are 4 wild card spots. January 23rd, which is the Thursday, Wednesday, February 5th. February 15th is a Saturday, and then Friday, February 28th. These are wild card spots. And here are some of the potential matchups that could get picked up. So if Marshall would be featured in any of those slots, it would be either Marshall at Georgia Southern on January 23rd, Arkansas State at Marshall on February 5th. It could be Marshall at Louisiana on February 15th. And for that Friday, February 28th slot, it could be App State at Marshall. And again, this is going to be determined later, so that's what the television schedule looks like. But at least we know what time the Southern Miss game is set for. It's going to be a 3 o'clock kick, and it's going to be on ESPN+. Let's go back to the text line. Texter says, Paul, always been green. I'm a Fairland Dragon green. I'm a Marshall Thundering Herd green. My Dragons have won the OVC. Marshall is next for winning season, 9-3. Okay, I like that. We'll take that. Let's go with that. We'll take that absolutely. 9-3. I'm okay with that. Back to our text line. What about Twitter noise about Andrew Taylor going to Stetson? Truth or fiction? Donnie Jones cherry picking our former players. I have really not given Andrew Taylor much thought, to be quite fair, since no longer with the Thundering Herd. I'd be curious to see as well. Where that kid, I think, made a poor decision. If you're looking for the money, if that's the case, you're looking for the best NIL opportunity, and you got something that was substantial, good on him. But at the same time, and I haven't really followed his career since, if you want to have a career that has some, some value, you want to have a career that you could have been an iconic player maybe at Marshall University, you could have put yourself in a situation where you were long held in esteem, well regarded. I'm not saying we're building you a statue. We're still working on that John Elmore statue. But you could have been one of those players that we talk about in a positive manner for a long time to come. I mean, we're still talking about players from yesteryear. We're still talking about guys that used to be here that committed and played their entire career here. And I think that if you have an opportunity to leave yourself a legacy, I think you got to look at that opportunity because it was working for him at Marshall. And that's what disappoints me, because it was working for him at Marshall. I mean, sometimes, not always, sometimes it's you're chasing fool's gold. So I don't know if Donnie Jones is cherry picking players. If Donnie was, eyeballing a player or two, I'd go after the best players I possibly could. And, if there's someone out there that he's eyeballing, thinks they can pick them, go ahead, right? It's on Marshall to keep Marshall players. How do you do that? Well, winning helps, but you got to make sure that they have a compelling reason to stay or want to come. And let's give Coach Jackson the opportunity to make a compelling argument for all these guys to stay. I think Coach Jackson's going to do fine. The players love him. The returners love him. And you also have a situation where he's young enough where I think he relates to these guys. I think that does mean a lot. And I'm not saying that to maybe disparage Dan D'Antoni, so don't infer that. But, what I'm saying is, he's young. He probably relates to these kids better. He was always a good recruiter, and now he's going to be able to put a little bit more of his fingerprints on that process, if not more, at least direct it, hired some good staff, and it's incumbent on Marshall and him to make sure that you're putting the best product on the floor and getting the best guys. And however they go at it, I mean, if a kid's going to leave, he's going to leave. But, yeah, I get it. Not a lot of love for Donnie Jones. I think that's going to do it for this edition. We are out of time, believe it or not. We got through it. This has been a Monday. It felt like a Monday today. Back with you tomorrow. We got football to get into, more on basketball as we get you set for the start of the season. And, of course, we're going to give away our tickets now. Again, if you don't win today, I'll give you another chance tomorrow. Tomorrow, you'll find out tomorrow how many tickets we're giving away. Every day, it's going to be a different amount of tickets we're going to give away. 4-pack coming up to a lucky winner. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, if you missed anything today, you can go back and get it later on this evening, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or just wherever you get your podcast. Until then, have a great night. Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.